Hi, it's Jasmin. You know, that girl who did you know what way before the internet ever existed. Join me and my special guest every week as we talk about anything and everything because nothing is too taboo. So punch your ticket and get on board the crazy train with me, Jasmin St. All aboard! Welcome to a new episode of Crazy Train with Jasmin St. This week's guest is actually a complete breath of fresh air and maybe a blast from some people's past, but she is the original MILF. So let's welcome to the show the gorgeous, redheaded, fiery Rachel Steele. Thank you so much for joining me. I feel as though I just feel really honored right now because you're iconic, because you, my dear, like you said, are the original MILF. And you have like all these other girls coming up with like MILF porn or like they're the original MILF. What made you decide to start this whole trend, or not trend, but to become the first ever?
Yeah, thank you. It's nice to be here. I'm happy to be here, guys. I actually started shooting MILF content in 2007. A fan had sent me an email asking if I could shoot mom, son. We might have to say stepmother, stepson. You can edit accordingly. I read the script and I presented it to my, at the time, business partner. And he said, "Oh my God, no, we can't shoot that. Are you crazy? This is like incest." And I was like, "Well, it's not, because it's with an actor. I'm an actor and the person we're working with is a male model. So this is not, illegal what we're doing. This is just fantasy role play. And this seems to be something that they want to see." At the time, the movie American Pie had just come out and was all the rage. And somebody also was referring to me as the mother in that movie, American Pie, which I still haven't even watched. But so I said, let's do this. And so we started shooting MILF this, MILF that, MILF, MILF, MILF. MILF does this, MILF does that. I just put MILF in front of everything, all my titles, and it went insane. I was on a site, Clips for Sale at the time. I still am there. And we went from no one to number one. We shot right up the charts and stayed at number one for almost a decade. And then my MILF content, I saw right away, I didn't need a brick to hit me. Wow, this is big, this is hot, I'm going to do this. And I went all in. We both quit our jobs and went all in, and literally, overnight success. Within a year or two, we were like doing really, really well in producing our own content. And we just kept going with the whole MILF scenario.
Yeah, you kind of remind me of Stifler's mom. Like with red hair instead, though. She's cool, by the way. I met her once. So what
cool.
was no, she really is. Like, sometimes you see people, like, I wonder if they're going to be really nice or they're a real jerk. Nice tits, by the way. So what was your job prior?
My job prior was I owned a hair salon, a full service hair salon and spa. So we had hair, barbers, tanning, facials, massage, nails, and yeah, that's it. I owned that for about 15 years. Then the neighborhood really started to become dangerous. There was like shootings and high-speed chases going through our parking lot. I was in Tampa, and I just said, after 14 years of that salon, when it went downhill, the neighborhood, we just decided to pull out. It wasn't safe. And then I was like, I don't even know what I'm going to do. So I just worked retail here and there, working in Walmart. I worked at Walmart for a while. I worked in a bakery for a little while. And then I ended up in this industry, in the adult industry, by accident. And then it just took off from there.
That's a shame about Tampa. I've heard that from a few people. I actually feature danced in the 90s there on Ybor Strip at like the very first club. And it was fun. It was like a party town.
Ybor City was. I'm not sure what it's like now. I'm in California, but yeah, it's gotten really dangerous, and unfortunately drugs and crime. And yeah, I danced at the Mons Venus for about 2 years.
That sounds like fun. I don't know if I made it there, but I heard there's like a
Hmm.
spaceship and everything.
Yes, that was the Odyssey 2000 across the street.
Okay. I feel as though I
Mm.
want to like be after I get you girls on the show. Sometimes I feel like I want to just come out of retirement to feature dance, specifically at Space Odyssey or like at Mounds Venus.
Yeah, if they're still
So
happening, I don't even know.
that's a shame about all the crime. And when you say an accident, how you got into the business, describe what an accident is to Rachel Steele.
At the time, I was dating my then partner, who we ended up becoming husband and wife. We did this, built this business together, um, and we were having a Saturday out by the pool, just relaxing, just the two of us having cocktails. And then I was getting like, I started thinking of the movie 10 with Bo Derek, if you
Mhm.
could remember that movie, where she was wearing like white and she was all wet and she had her hair in braids and they were filming her on the beach walking in slow motion or coming out of the water with her nipples showing, and it was just like took the world by storm. It was like so sexy. And so I ran in the house, put on a white tank top, and then I jumped out of the water and I was like, look, I'm Bo Derek. And then I told him to start taking pictures of me. I was all buzzed up. So he was taking pictures. And then he goes, these pictures look pretty good. And he was like, there's this website called Hot Wife or something, some Hot Wife website. He's like, they're having a contest right now. You could win $600 if they like the picture, if the picture wins. Do you want me to submit these pictures? And I really didn't follow porn. I just, just wasn't really into porn, didn't care about it. I just had no idea. And I said, $600. This was 20 years ago. So that was a good chunk of money. So I was like, yeah, do it. And he did it. And I won the contest. After that, I was like, how can I make more money like that? That was way too easy. And then I started going online and going down the rabbit hole of, how do you do this? Where do you go? What is this Hot Wife website? What do they do? How do I apply to get another photo shoot or whatever? And then I just started to figure out what to do and where to start. And I started webcamming, setting up my own account and becoming a webcam performer. And then I realized all the fetishes out there, which I had no idea. I was completely innocent, talking to little black screens where men were saying, can I look at your toes? Do you have any mayonnaise in the refrigerator that you could smear all over yourself? Just all these crazy requests. And I was having so much fun with it because I just couldn't believe that, this was all out there. So, yeah. And then I just decided to give myself a name, Rachel Steele. And then we started working, created a little website and started shooting for clips for sale and open studios there. And then we shot up to the top. And yeah, that's how it all sort of unraveled with no intention to get into the adult industry. It just sort of happened like that.
Yeah, that's a good. I like hearing stories like that because when girls actually set out with that specific thing, I want to do this, I want to be in the business, they get let down so much. Like I've seen it in the 90s, I've seen it like
Yeah,
even after that, and back then it was way worse. Like when you got let down, you got let down. Like you weren't a contract girl, you weren't getting paid whatever it was for the box cover, and then it just
yeah,
thing. That's why I think it's nice you can control your own content. And
yeah,
I know that there's so many other girls that came up with this MILF thing, MILF theme. Like, what are your thoughts on that? And because you are the
yeah.
original one.
Well, I mean, you can't trademark things like that. You can't stop it from happening. And I have no issues. In the beginning, there were some upsetting moments where people were blatantly copying what I was doing. They were copying the titles, they were copying my storylines, like word for word, almost plagiarism. And that was a little disturbing because I was like, come up with your own ideas. You don't need to copy like that. That's just not really cool. But that was just a few people, and so now it's out of control. What can you do? You just gotta. And I just, I kept myself out of mainstream because
Mhm.
of my family. I was raising children at the time, and my husband was retired Marine Corps. So we just both decided that it was like not really cool for us to just come out, for our family's sakes and for his certain things in his life and career. So I stayed below the radar, away from mainstream, and tried to stay in the fetish world, kind of underground. And this year really is my first year breaking out of there and, coming out, stepping out. I'm here. I've been doing this for 20 years. People are like, how come I never heard of you? I was like, because I was kind of hiding a little bit. So, yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's their loss, but now they have all the time in the world to catch up. I don't understand
Yes.
how you handle the webcam requests because I people know the story. I was Hustler's like first webcam girl. Let me tell you,
Ah,
that went belly up like that. Like you give it five
really?
seconds, and I told the guy to go fuck himself and suck his own dick. But nowadays, looking back, I probably could have been paid, but he didn't like that I said that to him. They were complaining, so they just like shut the whole thing down. Then I went to a strip club to go have a steak after. So, I mean, there was light at the end of the tunnel. How did you
Yeah.
handle it at first when you started getting requests like mayonnaise? And what's the creepiest or the most odd request you've received for content?
These people that I was dealing with, none of them were, it didn't feel very patriarchal. So I think that if something comes to me that feels patriarchal, I get wild real fast. I don't dig that at all. I won't have it. I won't put up with it. Yeah, I'll tell them to suck their own dick too. And I might even help them to do that. But,
Yeah.
um, but so back then, it was these people were just so shy and quiet and just, with their little kinks and their fetishes. And I just sort of felt good that I was helping them to bring these to life. And I really enjoyed it. I still do. I enjoy getting scripts in the mail from customers, from clients, followers, and read their storyline and then make that video for them. And I understand all of these fetishes very, very well because I've spent a lot of time talking to clients and customers. When they email me, I go back and forth with them to really find out all these little details and what it is that really turns them on about that particular, what language do you want to hear? What clothing do you like? Do you want this, nurturing, or do you want strict? The demeanor and all of that. And I got a lot of that from the camming that I did. I really learned a lot about the array of fetishes that are out there. And then that made me more capable, with a broader perspective to be able to produce and make fetish films comfortably. And I really I have only had maybe a handful of people in my entire 20-year career where I had to like block them and just from disrespect.
I feel as though you've earned a psychology degree without
Yeah.
actually going through the motion. Like I think we all have to some degree. Plus, you worked at a hair
Yes.
salon before. I mean, you guys,
Yes.
they're the best therapists. Um,
Yeah.
not the most sane, but the best,
Yes, I
best
agree
as you
with
can
that,
get.
definitely.
What do you think the psychology is behind the whole MILF relationship to the son or the stepson?
I think that because, you know, everyone that I've spoken to says it's not that I find my mother sexually attractive. It's not that I secretly want my mother. It's the whole mothering, the nurturing, the control, the older, younger, the age gap, the more experienced woman. She's more sexual. She knows what she wants. She knows what she likes. She's had men. She's been around. And these are all the things that sort of surface when I'm talking to people that are requesting sessions with me or custom videos. They're, saying, I want you to be nurturing, or I want you to be very strict. You caught me doing this, you caught me doing that, and you're going to punish me. And so it's basically almost like BDSM kink. It's going into, either a nurturing, it's like domination in a way as well. So I feel like it's just, whether it's a whatever gender the person is, looking at the MILF, the mother, it's again just the older woman who knows what she wants. She's very sexual, and she knows how she wants to be pleased. And I feel like sometimes the people that are seeking the MILF are people that want that in their life. Maybe they want someone who has a little more control and knows what they want versus someone who might be very indecisive. I don't know. They play games. Are you okay? Yeah, I'm fine. What's wrong? Nothing. Where a woman would be like, no, I'm not okay. This is what's wrong. Now get down there and make me feel better. Oh, that's it. So I think that's what it is.
I get a lot of like, because I'm single and I get younger guys. It's really weird. And I don't want to specifically date them.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, maybe it just depends. But I think the youngest guy I've hooked up with in the past 3 months, this was 28 years old, but he's just like
Mm-hmm.
boring now. But I did ask him, so why did you like, why this now? Because we work together as well sometimes.
Uh-huh.
I
Yep.
won't say his name, but Andrew knows, the producer knows who it is. Um,
Uh-huh.
and he's like, because girls my age play games, they don't know what they
Yes.
want. And I get the game. It's like,
Yes.
no, nothing's wrong. It's just, no, it's
Exactly.
okay. No. And then they start blocking you on social media. It's such a runaround. Why can't people just be
Yes.
simple and tell each other what they want?
Yes.
Are you looking for a safe way to bet online where there is something for everyone, including yourself? Then go to betonline.ag where I am sure you will find something. Don't forget, it's betonline.ag for the most variety and the safest way to bet online. You know?
Exactly. It's called use your words. It's as simple as that. Just say what you want. Tell me what you want. I just don't have time anymore for that passive aggressive play. So people really need to communicate and use their words. It's just that simple.
Now tell us about the most recent scene that you put up.
So I just, the first time in over a decade, did mainstream. I went to Florida, Miami, to shoot with my pervy wife. No, wait. My pervy family, Touch My Wife, Filthy Kings, and Bang Brothers. So
Okay.
those were my most recent mainstream shoots that I just did, and I hadn't shot anything mainstream in over a decade, and that's why I mentioned earlier I'm coming to the mainstream to get more eyes on me so people can see my brand and um, I can grow that way. Um, and I did my very first interracial scene, and that was really sexy and hot and exciting and fun. I really loved it.
I saw that. So I never did interracial during my time in porn. So what
Hmm.
was that like? Did you ask for an interracial scene or did they just like throw it at you? And who is the scene for?
The scene was for Touch My Wife. I think it's touchmywife.com. Yeah.
Hmm.
And it was with Ace Biggs is his name, the actor. And yes, they asked me before I agreed to shoot with them. They asked me, what do you do? What are your do's? What are your don'ts? And so they said, would you do interracial? And I said, yes, I've never done it before. So my only request was that I literally, physically, physiologically cannot take like really large. Can we say dicks
Of
here on
course we
this?
can.
Okay. I cannot take really large monster, and they exist.
Yeah.
I'm like, I don't know, but as normal a size that you can find, I'll do. But those big monster dicks, I physically can't do it. Like I won't be able to shoot the scene. There's no way. You'll have to call an ambulance or something. I don't know. So, so they put me with Ace, who was just a sweetheart gem. I loved shooting with him. He's just a big, quiet, soft teddy bear, built like Adonis. And so it was really, really fun and sexy, and I had a good time. And it went crazy when I reposted, it went crazy on my website.
When you're saying big, okay, so quick story. My very first scene I did with Peter North. It wasn't anal, by the
Oh,
way. Thank God. I
mm-hmm.
had no clue how big his dick was.
Yes.
Yeah, and then I'm in the hair room, the hair getting my hair and makeup done, and the makeup artist shows me a curling iron. Oh, girl, it's nothing. This is it. I'm like, uh-huh. I think he's lying. Oh my God. I was in for a surprise. I was really like taken aback.
Mm-hmm.
But back then, we didn't really, I don't think they had very many protections for girls when a guy had a super huge cock. And that was the thing then. Like a lot of the guys
Yeah.
had really big, thick cocks. And you see yourself doing a DP scene. Like it just became so normal. So eventually I learned about lidocaine.
Oh.
But then the guy has a problem after if you use lidocaine.
Oh yeah.
But
It
then I
would
was
numb
being
him.
Jasmine. I'd be like, I have to
Mm-hmm.
go. Like, this is like past a day. I'm leaving. I'm going. I have shit to do. I have nail appointments. I have a gym appointment. I have a hair appointment. So I don't have time to
Yeah.
sit here because he can't ejaculate. So
Yeah.
yeah, it was.
Oh God, I'm glad that's not happening now.
You're very
Yeah.
lucky. So what's Bang
Yeah.
Brothers like? Because I've heard all these stories about them.
Well, I was working with one of their producers, and he was great. I had a great time. He was actually the producer for all of the videos I shot that week that I was there. I think I shot five altogether. So there was like one every single day, and he was there every day producing and directing the whole thing, and he was fantastic. So I didn't really deal with anybody else from Bang Brothers, and the actual scene that we were going to shoot for for Bang Brothers site was canceled that day due to a male model had something, a medical problem or something. So yeah. So I really didn't get to shoot for them directly during that visit, but the director and the producer, they were really nice, and I had a really good time, really good experience.
Do you think it's more difficult now to make money off of these platforms than when you did this originally 20 years ago?
Yes, definitely. I'm so grateful that I'm in the industry as a seasoned performer. You know, I've been here for so long, and I've already got an established fan base, and I've got a library of over 5,000 videos that I've created, produced all, you know, over these years. And I can now take that library and sell them here and sell them there. And, you know, I've got a nice little foundation of where I can sell all of my content. And with the start of OnlyFans, I believe that's when it just kind of went crazy, and now everybody's in porn.
Yeah.
There was just so many you could know. Before, you used to know the porn stars. Now forget it. It's just, it's infinity. So, you know, it's, I wouldn't want to be starting now. I wouldn't want to be 25 and wanting to start now. I just don't, honestly, I don't know how everyone's making money, but they are. People are doing pretty well. But yeah, I wouldn't want to have to start now. It's definitely becoming very saturated, and it's also becoming more and more difficult to sell with the banks and the credit card processing companies and the political environment. When that shifts and changes, so does the bureaucracy, which trickles all the way down into our industry, you know, saying, oh, you can't do this, you can't do that. Nope, can't do that anymore. So and so's in office now. So, nope, no more of that. I've watched my mom son videos. I can't sell them anywhere. Like, they're not allowed. So I've had to
Really?
take them off of Pornhub. Yes. And now we're doing stepmom, step everything. And I'm actually kind of transitioning away from all of the family play, as they call it, because it's just getting more and more difficult, which I don't understand, because if you turn on the TV and watch Netflix or Showtime or Cinemax, you can see all kinds of situations like that. But on in the porn industry, the whole family play thing is banned. Like, it's just not allowed. So I don't know if pretty soon the stepmom stuff is not going to be allowed as well. I don't know. It's getting very interesting to see all of the restrictions that they're putting on.
That's so weird because it's just stepmom, it's fantasy, it's role play, it's role play. You have
Exactly.
two actors consenting, signing release forms. right?
Exactly. Yes, with their IDs, and we follow 2257 guidelines. We're not doing
Hmm.
anything shady. Everything is by the book, legitimate. And it's like you just said, it's fantasy role play. And I just feel like almost like our rights are being taken away as artists to be able to role play like this. It's like, no, you can't say that. You can't use that word. So it's like you feel like there's just duct tape on your mouth.
Unless you do them as special requests, and then there goes the whole thing where you could make all the money from it being the original MILF, and here you are back. People see that you're back. You have your OnlyFans and every other way to contact you. Then maybe you could start charging more for it because it's taboo.
Exactly. Yeah. I've been taboo since day one without even meaning to.
Isn't it crazy how that was? Like back then, it was taboo to like do DP scenes. It was taboo to do like a scene with three guys or more.
Mm-hmm.
Then, there I am doing that. I didn't really give a fuck.
Of
And
course
then it's
not.
like, you're not supposed to, because the people who really give you a problem, they're truly not the ones paying your bills at the end of the day, right?
Exactly. Yes. Yeah.
It's very interesting. I mean, I hope to see more of your stuff out there on like Brian's press releases and so forth, because I feel it's become
Yeah.
more mainstream. But I also think they've, okay, no, not this doesn't refer to you, but I feel
Yeah.
as though there's no longer a porn star. So, example, I get insulted. So, this guy in my building, he's like a dirty older guy. Really nice guy, though. He's like, yeah, well, I'm dating a porn star. I said, you're not dating a fucking porn star. How old is she? He's like 57. She's 28. First of all, that's
He's
like way too old. You're supposed to be
mm-hmm.
80 with an 18-year-old girlfriend at some point. So I
Right.
teased him. Well, she just started. Can you help her? I said, no, because the 90s are over. There's no more like porn star porn, anything. I met the girl. Oh my God. It's just, I didn't know. I mean, she's in sneakers. She has multicolored hair and just
Mm-hmm.
all this other stuff going on. I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
They don't groom
Yeah,
themselves anymore.
she's probably just got like an OnlyFans account and sounds like she's got herself a sugar daddy.
Right? Well, no, he's not a sugar
Mm-hmm.
daddy yet. I don't think he's on unemployment, but she doesn't have to know that. And that's another
Yeah.
thing with sugar daddies. I feel now it's different than back when you had sugar daddies. It was more of an emotional thing. And I think a lot of the stuff with you is it's an emotional thing, right? The whole mom thing. Do you feel sometimes it's men that lack their relationship, and not to get deep, with their mom
Yeah.
or something?
It could be because the whole daddy thing, how people will make comments, oh, she has daddy issues and joke
Hmm.
about it. But, I'm in therapy. I've been in therapy for a long time, and I'm always reading and learning about psychology and better help and help yourself kind of things. And I came from a family background that was very violent and abusive. And the father in my life was very quiet and ignored. So he just didn't have anything to do with me. It was like an abandonment feeling. So then later on, I started to almost fetish, I can't say that word,
Fetishize?
fetish size, yes, like older men. And then I'm like, why am I doing that? They're not really attractive. It's not that I want to have sex with them. But I was like, oh, and I brought it up to my therapist. And then she said, well, when you have issues from abandonment from a parent or abuse, which that is abuse, even
Yeah.
if they're not screaming and striking you, if they can just be silent and have nothing to do with you really, and that's just as hurtful. So I think that with the whole mommy thing, I feel like there could have been some issues in their lives. Um, there's this phenomenon with breastfeeding that grown men are sending me emails saying, "Oh, do a video where you breastfeed a guy." And I do these videos. And when I'm doing these videos, I just don't get it. I'm like, well, this is what they want. This is what they want to see. They're very detailed about what it is. So it's got to go back to the whole nurture, maybe lack of nurturing, maybe lack of closeness with their moms.
Do you want to spice things up in the bedroom? Well, go to adamandeve.com where you can get something for yourself or that special someone. Adamandeve.com and put in the code CrazyTrain, that's crazy with a K, and get 50% off of most items and a bunch of free goodies. Again, it's adamandeve.com and put in my code CrazyTrain, it's crazy with a K, and enjoy up to 50% off of most items and, of course, some great freebies. No, I'm sorry. No, how do you breastfeed though if you're not breastfeeding? You know what I mean? Like, how do you do
Yeah.
breastfeeding video?
Well, there's no milk. It's just you go through the motions. That's it. And they just love it. I don't know if it's the whole groping and grabbing and sucking and, big boobs. Um, but it's crazy. It's big. Whenever I use that keyword to describe a video, if I put, redhead, thigh high stockings, breastfeeding, high heels, it just goes crazy because they're like breastfeeding, breastfeeding. So, and it doesn't have to do with the milk or anything like that. It's just they want to see a guy sort of feeding.
Are those real?
Yes, they are all natch.
What size?
I am 36 triple D. If I want to fit a bra properly, it would be probably an E.
I miss my old boobs. Like, I want to get them big again because ever since I started getting a lot of chestier girls on my show, it's like, wait,
Mm-hmm.
where are my boobs? Like, they're gone now. I want them big. But that's got to be do you have back problems with it?
No, not at all. I don't. I never have, but I also am pretty fit. I work out 5 days a week and have really strong core. So I don't know, and back. I work out my whole body, so I don't know if that has helped a lot. And I try to wear like really well-fitting bras.
That makes sense. And is there
Yeah.
anything specific that you have not shot that you want to shoot?
Well, I'm actually starting to really evolve. Um, I'm starting to have a little more self awareness as to what it is that I want and what I like. I don't know if you've experienced this in your career, but you do so much performing, you're creating and performing for others, that sometimes you can lose yourself in it. And you're like, I've had people say, "What do you like? What are you into?" And I just go blank. I'm like, I don't know what. Tell me what to say. What? So I really have been starting to lean into the femdom world, and I'm really starting to enjoy a little bit of female domination, dominatrix style kind of work. And I just recently did a shoot that hasn't been released yet, but we will be advertising for it soon. I did a femdom shoot here in San Diego at an actual dungeon. I rented the dungeon out and hired a professional submissive, and he came and we shot about 3 hours of all kinds of fun femdom boot worship and spanking and cocksucking and then some pegging. So I'm leaning a little more towards that, but I want to do my own style of dom work where I don't want to just wear the black shiny clothes, with the whip in your hand. I want to wear like maybe a nice power business suit that's very sexy and well fitted, just sort of authority figure of some kind, and just kind of make men drop to their knees and make them do whatever I feel like making them do.
I think that's a classier version of it. I like that version better than the typical
Yeah,
like black outfit because you could be out in the
yeah,
street and like guys fantasize about that woman in power with her suit, like the
yeah,
business suit on, and very like
exactly.
assertive that knows what she wants. What's your sign?
Libra,
October?
yes. Mm-hmm.
I figured as much. You were like right in that ballpark. Um, I want to do okay. So if I ever did any form, like I know everyone's on Sex Panther and Night Flirt. Then my
Mm-hmm.
friend Slava, he does directing. He does a lot of alt erotic models. He said to me, "You should get on there because you always talk so much shit to men, but you'll actually get
Yes.
paid for it. Really?
Yes. You'd be very good at it. Well, as soon as you said, I want to tell them to suck their own dicks, I was like, oh, she'd be a good dom. You are already.
Yeah, you
It's
think?
it's
Okay,
in
I
us,
think I'm gonna.
Yeah.
But how do you
It's
advertise that? Because if people call up and want to speak to you, they probably want you to be really nice and sexual, and that's not what I'm going to do.
Well, yeah, and that's interesting. Because when you are going to do, like, say you were going to do a little session with somebody, you first have to set the parameters and the guidelines and what it is that they want, what kind of a session do they want. So you have to kind of be yourself for that little interview kind of thing. And then you just go from there and you just turn it right on. And if they're reaching out for a femdom session, then they're aware that you're not going to just be like, "How are you doing today? How's your day so far? Are you having a good day?" You're going to be a little different than that.
Yeah, that's what the wife and girlfriends are for. Did you ever
Yes,
find it
exactly.
difficult being in a relationship with someone in the business? Like two of you in the business, did it ever get weird? Like, did it feel off at
Yeah.
times?
No, I'm really really lucky. The two men in my life that I've had, the first one that I had mentioned, his name was Frank. In our movies, his name was Frank, and he sadly passed away in 2014. That's
Sorry
when I
about
took a little time off. Yeah, thank you. Um, but he was just crazy, like good guy, and he just didn't have any hangups. There was no jealousy. There was no suspicions. There was no. We had trust, and we made these movies together, and then as soon as that camera shut and everybody was gone, we were like, what do you want for dinner? And we would go eat, drink some wine, and call it a night. And it just became, it was our work, it was our job. And we saw the freedom that it was giving us, the travel we had at our fingertips. You just pack up your camera and you can just go anywhere and film anywhere. So we were both like so happy to have that kind of freedom. So I think that really made the relationship strong and last through filming. And then my partner today was is I will say he still is a fan. I would hope he would still be a fan, but he was a fan when we first met, and he never thought that I was going to answer his. He sent a little hello, Rachel, and I answered his hello, and then we started chatting, and we ended up visiting each other in New York, and then we ended up, the pandemic came, we lived at my house in Maine, and we've been together for 5 years. So he was a fan, and now he's my content manager. We shoot together. We're both in it together. We live here on the West Coast now in San Diego, and he's my cameraman, the lighting person, and the editor, and he handles all the platforms, uploading all the content to all the different platforms. So we're both in it together full time, and there's absolutely no problems or issues whatsoever. If anything, he's really turned on by it all, and that turns me on. So we are actually, I don't even, we're like getting turned on while we shoot, and while I'm doing things with other people, he's like turned on while he's watching and filming. And then when they leave, we're all like, that was hot.
it.
So it's like we have a really good life.
Yeah, it
Can't
sounds like
complain.
it.
Yeah.
Imagine that, a functioning relationship between two adults in the adult film business. Whoever would have thought? You never hear of
Yes,
that these days.
I know. That's why I said I'm really lucky because, I've heard some other stories, and there's can be a lot of drama, jealousy, and violence, and, negativity. So, yeah.
Yeah, or someone like waving a handgun on your front lawn. But that was
Yeah.
so long ago. Yeah, I had no idea
Mm-hmm.
about addictions, how addicts behave until I dated this guy. He ended up he was murdered, I think, like 3 years ago, unfortunately, but we knew each other from that whole
Mm.
era. It's really sad, but it's nice to hear
Yeah.
that you have a great, healthy relationship, though. It gives the rest
Yeah.
of us hope out there in this world.
Yeah. Without drug problems or anything like that. We just sort of shy away from that. We don't really, that's not our lifestyle. We choose to just try to live healthy, fit, healthy mind, healthy body, and still have fun at the same time. But yeah, that seems to be our choice, and that path, and it's really paid off. And I see others that don't follow that path, and they're doing drugs and partying a lot, and it's taking a toll on them, and it's just not sustainable. So my advice is to, try to be as healthy as you can, healthy mind, take care of yourself, and yeah, don't do drugs.
Yeah, stay away from drugs, kids. So if people want to find you and your upcoming scenes, where can they find it on the World Wide Web? And of course, I want you to plug all your stuff right now too.
Yeah. Well, Instagram has shut me down for the fourth time. So I won't plug that because I had 260,000 followers the first time they shut me down, many thousands after that and after that. So the best place to find me with all of my information is my website. That's rachel-steele.com. And they can find everything there. That's my social media is Twitter, which would be at redmilfrachel, or rachel-steele.com. Those are the two places.
Okay, and the upcoming scenes again?
That would be filthykings.com and touchmywife.com. Yes.
That's
Yes, I
kind
think
of
that's it.
cute. I
Yes.
like that name. Touch my wife, please. Please
I
fuck
know,
my
I
wife.
love it. And Levi is the producer and owner's name of those particular websites. And he has My Pervy Family and then Touch My Wife. And I always was making the mistake of saying My Pervy Wife, kind of mixing those two. But I like the My Pervy Wife. Maybe I'll do a
Yeah,
little Pervy Wife series. Keep it
I
safe.
think you're onto something right there. That's the next one.
Yes, the pervy dominating wife.
There you have it, folks. And
Yeah.
welcome back to the business. I'm sure your fans are happy to see you. And, you'll get the new ones, which are the really young ones who probably weren't even like sperms in their daddy's ball sack,
Exactly.
which is
Yes.
perfect.
Yes, exactly. The clientele never ends, and my films only become vintage. So, all good.
Well, wait a second. With that said, do you think a lot of younger girls today deprive guys sexually? Do you think there's that whole gap of understanding each other sexually these days in the age groups? Like,
Yeah, things are happening for sure. There's less sex happening, and I think that has a lot to do with devices. People are on their phones, literally on their and doing apps and chatting with each other versus meeting in person, talking, putting the phones down, looking at each other, having a coffee, having a drink, whatever. It's literally like affecting younger generations. They're like not having they're having less sex, and it's becoming disconnection. Um, you know, so I don't know what the statistics are, but that's what's happening right now. So there's and then what that does is when they do get together, it makes it hard for them to communicate. There's no communication, there's lack of everything. They're losing their social skills, which would mean sexual skills too. And I'm a porn producer, but I don't recommend people go to porn to learn about intimacy and sex and how to please each other. I suggest other venues for that. Porn is entertainment. Porn is to help you get off in 5 minutes or whatever. So I feel like definitely the 20s and 30s somethings are struggling, and there's like a loneliness pandemic happening right now, and I feel like it has a lot to do with people just being on their devices and sort of pulling away from each other.
I agree wholeheartedly. I just had this
Yeah.
conversation, like, especially in the job force, you have people with such poor customer service. And I told the guy this at the gym, I said, you lack human skills, you lack
Yes.
communication, you lack common decency. Put your fucking phone down while I'm talking to you.
Oh,
He said I was being
yes.
aggro. I'm like, well, yeah, I'm at a gym, duh. But
Yes.
you're just sitting there and you don't know how to
Yes.
look at someone in the face and talk.
It's true, and it's literally happening, and it's real, and we see that because you and
Hmm.
I come from a different generation where we were eye contact. You have to talk to people. You have to have these customer service skills. And also I owned a hair salon for
Yeah.
14 years. So what did I do every day, every hour? I did nails. So I was a foot away from somebody 10 hours a day. I had clients and I would talk to them about their lives all day long for 10, 8 to 10 hours a day for 5 days a week. And the lack of skills, the social skills is very visible. And the more we have these devices where we can put on the virtual reality goggles and plug in something into your ears and always have your phone. I notice it when I'm walking down the street and I see people scrolling on their phone while they have their dog. And sometimes I remember one time I saw this dog look up at the owner, and the owner was just like this. And the dog just like looked away and then looked down. You used to have eye contact with your dog. You used to talk to your dog. Same with your children. I watch moms. Like I saw one mom nursing her baby and she was on the phone like this. And the baby was looking up at the mother, which you're supposed to be making eye contact. This is primal. This is just primal things that these humans need to develop in their brain and everything, have that facial recognition of the mother. And the mom was literally turned away, scrolling away on her phone. So I don't know what the future's bringing, but I'm glad I don't have to deal with it.
Yeah, me too. I hope it changes because it's unacceptable.
We hope they wake up and have a little awakening like, hey, she might be onto something. Or they just look at us like, fuck, those two fucking bitches, man. God, why are they so bitchy?
It's certified bitch, first of all. And secondly, yeah,
Yeah.
we know what we're talking about. I think this guy got fired at the gym because it's just one too many incidents.
Yes.
I don't think I had anything to do with it. I'm just giving full disclosure in case anyone wants to say whatever you want to say about me. I fucking care. But yes, hopefully I get to meet you in person because you are a breath of
Yeah.
fresh air, my dear.
Thank you so much, Jasmine. It was really great. I had a really good time talking with you.
Me too.